We're surrounded with farm and domestic animals, fruits, vegetables. Where did they come from? Were they once free living in their present form in the wild and then induced to adopt some less strenuous life on the farm? No. They are, almost all of them, made by us. Every plant and animal alive today has a history as ancient and illustrious as ours. Humans stand on one branch, but now we affect the future of every branch of this 4 billion-year-old tree.
Life was the greatest mystery, living things on Earth, so much diversity. Nobody could explain it, not even you or me. Just thinking about it causes extreme perplexity.
Aristotle thought he had it figured out, said it was from a god, beyond any doubt. He came up with the great chain of being. Everyone accepted this because it was appealing.
Flash forward 2,000 years, many new scientists were on the frontier. The evolutionary thought was progressing, the unchanging view of life, it was recessing.
Life is old like the age of the earth. 4 billion years ago was its true birth. People thought it was 6,000 years old. That's what the major religions foretold.
Lamarck wondered why giraffes had long necks. He thought traits were acquired and passed on to the next. The giraffes really stretched for those trees, then their necks became longer because they believed. He was wrong, Darwin came along, the mystery of life about to be taken on. 22 when he sailed the ocean blue on the HMS Beagle, potentially lethal. 5 years on the 7 seas, he analyzed the lands, gaining expertise. One place explored would change his life forever, the Galapagos Islands, a whole new endeavor.
Darwin observed many kinds of finches, noticed similarities and also some differences. Every finch had separate characteristics because each island required something different.
They all had different kinds of beaks, it depended on the environment and what they would eat. Thick beaks for breaking hard bugs, thin ones for chewing squishy grubs.
He didn't think much about it just then, but when he got home, the theory began. With no knowledge of genetic persuasion, he wondered what could cause the finch's variation.
Natural selection, survival and progression, it's life's secret weapon, it continues its direction. The explanation to life's amazing question, supported by evidence, it ain't no preconception. Always variation in a population, this happens by mutation and genetic recombination. The change in a structure of a gene prompts life's diversity because natural selection intervenes.
Superior genes, what did they induce? It increases likelihood that life can reproduce. Any organism with faulty genes increases their chances of becoming smithereens.
The ones that reproduce their kind, pass down their traits, and make a smarter mind. Just think, over long periods of time, the complexity and beauty that natural selection could design.
Every science theory has truth to back it up. In the case of evolution, there's plenty of the stuff. All we have to do is take a look around. How about we start in the Earth's ground?
Rocks hold the remains of life's path. Looking at the fossils, you can see into the past. If we compare modern bones to ancient, we can all observe life's drastic changes.
How do we know the rocks and fossils' ages? Using elements in chemistry, the ratio of its traces. Potassium and argon are common fossil daters. Radiometric dating is the perfect vindicator. Scientists use fossils all the time, examining it all like the scene of a crime. The fossils show us the origin of parts like teeth, hands, and even our arms.
You could pose, where's a missing link? One is dinosaur to bird, Archaeopteryx. Fossils like Tiktaalik, compelling we admit. From fish to land, mama we made it. You may ask, what about us? We have found our ancient ancestors, Australopithecus, Artie, Aurorn, all ancient human forms. From 4 legs to 2, they defied the hunched norm.
Even better than the fossils, let's look at modern things. Our arms are similar to whales and cats and bats with wings. Looking back, we can see all life's tones like 1, 2, and lots of little bones.
Every trait begins from a common ancestor. When the species reproduce, a gene is selected for. The structures change, remodel, and reform. We are all related, but transformed.
If we examine all mammal skeletons, the structural comparisons are similar in all of them. Natural selection's remodeling process. The structures have to change so that life could progress.
By finding kinship, we can broaden our mind. What you think is different is one of your kind. Different species have related structures. Homology, Darwin's compelling wonder.
Not every structure that we have is still in use. Some ancient body parts like has give us many clues. Residual structures like the cormorant's wings. Only evolution can explain its useless wing.
Whales were once terrestrial, then they dove in the seas. Today remaining little limbs show their ancestry. They are much smaller and non-functional. Evolution's theory makes us much more rational.
Way back in our past, down the tree of life, we had swinging tails and they helped us out alright. Now today, all we have is the coccyx, a vestige of our ancestry. Evolution's the logic. Embryology correlates to evolution with similar patterns of genetic attribution. The same genes found in birds are also found in humans. DNA remnants from our ancestors' ruins. When we're in the womb, there's really no difference between our little bodies and the same of chickens. As young embryos, we don't look human. We look like little tadpoles in the pond swimming.
Before we develop, we share many traits with many other species like the bottom feeding skate. When we are fetal, gill arches we possess, but unlike fish, ours are repressed.
The parts on the outside are keen to the eye. Vestigial homologous, there's something more sly.
DNA,
a message from the past, traveling through life on its never-ending path.
Darwin did not know anything about genes. That knowledge wasn't known until the 20th century. This kind of evidence on life's changing road, the best answer is the molecular code.
Biologists have analyzed the genes. The cousinship of life is the unifying theme. From the smallest bugs to the largest creatures, we are all related with the same genetic features.
The DNA string possesses base pairs. We can sequence all life's genes, then we could compare. Align the sequence side by side. More base pairs that are the same, the more recent are divide. Another piece of proof for Evolution Street is the scientific study of biogeography. Plate tectonics, Earth's changing crust, life's dynamic climate, evolution was a must.
Many years ago when Pangea first split, put it back together and we can see it fits. Fossil distribution is a solid contribution to continental drift and the theory of evolution.
If you're having trouble following along, we'll end by giving more examples in our little song. Natural selection is around us all day. Its beauty comes in so many different ways. Before the Industrial Revolution, there were lower levels of the amount of air pollution. White moths could blend in with white trees. Camouflage hid them, which prolonged their survival spree. The industrial era hit, more pollution was produced. The white trees were darkened when covered all by soot. Darker moths were more likely to survive, but now the white ones were increasingly going to die.
In today's world, too much medicine is used. Mutations have allowed for bacteria to reproduce. MRSA and VRSA no longer are affected. The gene that helps them live has been selected. Right now, our drugs are ceasing to work. Bacteria are resisting, our world will go berserk. Natural selection is choosing who lives. This process is ruthless, it never forgives.
Selection in the world isn't always by nature. Humans can select genes to make their products greater. You think your food is natural, that would be misleading. Humans have selected for the best genes competing.
Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, labs, terriers, retrievers, spaniel.
None of these things would be around today if we didn't artificially select them, okay?
We have to give credit where credit is due. Alfred Russel Wallace also helped too. He developed the theory all on his own. Bernard published first, so Wallace is unknown.
In 1859, Darwin published his book, The Origin of Species, revolutionary work. When the public first read it, controversy would ensue. The evidence contradicted what the people saw as true.
Evolution's just a theory.
You say, well, you don't define theory the scientific way. Evidence, observation, and experimentation. A science theory is a well-confirmed explanation.
If we came from monkeys, why are they still monkeys?
Are you being serious or are you being funny? Modern species don't evolve to modern life. We branch from a common ancestor, alright. Evolution and science go hand in hand. Creationists ignore this like a guy named Ken Ham. They try to block our schools from teaching truth. If evolution's a lie, then where's the proof?